The following presentation may contain too many cat jokes. Viewer discretion is advised. This presentation is rated CJ, Cat Jokes. Parental guidance suggested.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat er nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
It's story time at Opa's Corner. So let's get started. It's a nice day at the university where members of the teaching staff, a physician, a law professor, a political science professor, a chemist, and a statistician walked into an office to discover the trash can is on fire. The political science professor says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything," and proceeds to exit the room. The physicist announced, "We must put the garbage can in the fridge so that the temperature will be below the ignition temperature and therefore put itself out." The chemist replies, No. We must cover the garbage can so that the fire consumes all of the oxygen and in the absence of reactants can no longer continue." The law professor declares, "Please stop blaming the victim. You have yet to prove the can is indeed on fire." Meanwhile, the three turn around to find that the statistician is running around the room setting everything else on fire. "What the heck are you doing?" they screamed at him. "Getting the proper sample size." A stingy old lawyer who had been diagnosed with a terminal illness was determined to prove wrong the old saying, "You can't take it with you." After much thought and consideration, the old ambulance chaser finally figured out how to take at least some of his money with him when he died. He instructed his wife to go to the bank and withdraw enough money to fill 2 pillowcases. He then directed her to take the bags of money to the attic and leave them directly above his bed. His plan? When he passed away, he would reach out and grab the bags on his way to heaven. Several weeks after the funeral, the deceased lawyer's wife was up in the attic cleaning. She came upon the 2 forgotten pillowcases stuffed with cash. "Oh, that fool," she explained. "I knew he should have had me put the money in the basement." A couple arrived at town hall seconds before closing time and caught a judge just as he was about to leave and asked him to marry them. He asked if they had a license, and when they said they didn't, he sent them off to get one. They caught the town clerk just as he was locking up and got the license from him. When they got back to the judge, he pointed out that they had filled the names in wrong, with his where hers belongs and vice versa. They rushed back to the clerk's office, caught him again, and got another license. This time, the judge noticed that the clerk had filled in the date in the wrong format. Again, they caught the clerk, and after 5 reissued licenses, the judge was finally satisfied. The judge said, "I hope you appreciate why I made you keep going back. If there are irregularities in the license, your marriage would not be legal, and any children you might have would be, putting it delicately, technical bastards." The groom replied, That's funny. That's just what the clerk called you. A blonde stormed up to the front desk of the library screaming, "I have a complaint!" "How can I help you?" the librarian said, looking up at her. "I borrowed a book last week and it was horrible." Puzzled by her complaint, the librarian asked, "What was wrong with it?" "It had way too many characters and there was no plot," said the blonde. "Ah," nodded the librarian. "So you're the person who took our phone book." Two factory workers are talking. The woman says, "I can make the boss give me the day off." The man replies, "And how would you do that?" "Just wait and see." She then hangs herself upside down from the ceiling. The boss comes in and says, "What are you doing?" "I'm a light bulb." "Oh, you've been working so much that you've gone crazy. I think you need to take the day off." The man starts to follow her, and the boss says, "Where are you going?" "I'm going home too. I can't work in the dark." A senator is visiting a primary school. In one class, he asks the students if anyone can give him an example of a tragedy. One little boy stands up and offers that, "If my best friend who lives next door is playing in the street when a car came by and killed him, that would be a tragedy." "No," says the senator, "that would be an accident." A girl raises her hand. "If a school bus is carrying 50 children drove off a cliff, killing everyone inside, that would be a tragedy." "I'm afraid not," explains the senator. "That is what we would call a great loss." The room is silent. None of the other children dares volunteer. "What?" asks the senator. "Isn't there anyone here who can give me an example of a tragedy?" Finally, little Johnny in the back raises his hand. In a timid voice he says, "If an airplane carrying a senator was blown up by a bomb, that would be a tragedy." "Marvelous," the senator beams. "And can you tell me why that would be a tragedy?" "Well," says little Johnny, "because it wouldn't be an accident, and it certainly would be no great loss." I told my wife that I would be home by midnight. I promise. Well, the hours passed, and the beers went down way too easy. Around 3 a.m., a bit loaded, I headed for home. Just as I got in the door, the cuckoo clock in the hallway started up and cuckooed 3 times. Quickly realizing my wife would probably wake up, I cuckooed another 9 times. I was really proud of myself coming up with such a quick-witted solution in order to escape the possible conflict with her. Even when totally smashed, 3 cuckoos plus 9 cuckoos totals 12 cuckoos, midnight. The next morning, my wife asked me what time I got in. I told her midnight. She didn't seem pissed in the least. Ooh, I got away with one. And then she said, "We need to get a new cuckoo clock." When I asked her why, she said, "Well, last night our clock cuckooed 3 times and then said, 'Oh shit,' cuckooed 4 more times, cleared its throat, and another 3 times, giggled, cuckooed twice more, and then tripped over the coffee table and farted." A redneck love poem. Susie Lee done fell in love. She planned to marry Joe. She was so happy 'bout it all, she told her pappy so. Pappy told her, Susie gal, you'll have to find another. I'd just as soon y'all ma don't know, but Joe is yo half-brother. So Susie put aside her Joe and planned to marry Will. But after telling Pappy this, he said, there's trouble still. You can't marry Will, my gal, and please don't tell your mother. But Will and Joe and several more I know is yo half-brother. But Mama knew and said, my child, just do what makes you happy. Marry Will or marry Joe, you ain't no kin to Pappy. And now for the funnies. Lucy in disguise with diamonds. Puppy chow, homework, and slippers flavored. Sitting on my human name dead, watching the clock till I get fed. Sitting on my human name dead, wasting time. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It's Jim, darn it. So, these three little mice are blind and the farmer's wife comes along and cuts off their tails with a carving knife? Who writes this stuff? Stephen King? The length of surgery depends on whether Nurse Stephen resists the urge to knock tools off the tray. I will do my best. Sorry, mister, but this is what we do to cattle rustlers in these parts. How does chess work? We just push each piece off the board one at a time and watch them fall. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line until your call is no longer important to you. Dogs Afraid of Cats support group. I have nightmares about fluffy tails and claws in my face. Me too. I'm going to tell her that's my bed and she shouldn't be sleeping in it. You've been saying that for a month, Bruce. All right, guys, go to your desks. Cubby time is over. Feline Fear Factor. Your final challenge is to eat an entire can of store-brand cat food. The itsy bitsy spider climbs up the kitchen wall. Bad at the spider till you make it fall. Stare at the spider, it's just lying there. Sniff it, walk away, then scratch the leather chair. The reason that I never eat insects or rodents is because, well, you were adopted. I go in, and when I come out, I'm at the vet. Then I go back in, and when I come out, I'm home. Could it be a wormhole? Beam me down. Now, beam me up. Now, beam me down again. Come on, I was starving, and I said I was sorry. Sit. Good boy. Down. Good boy. Stand up. I met this guy on the street and he said he hadn't had a bite in 3 days, so I bit him. But seriously, folks, why would anyone want to vacation in a giant litter box? He walked upstairs, looked down the hall, and saw his human holding a tiny cat-sized Halloween costume. Arrgh! Say, look what they're doing. Did you know that when a cat wags its tail, it means something completely different? Oh, look, a bottle. You have no new messages. A flowchart for cats. Do you want the thing to fall on the floor? No. You sure? Yes. Eat it or take a nap. You sure? Okay, I want it on the floor. Nudge it. Do you want the thing to fall on the floor? Yes. Nudge it. Is it on the floor? No. Nudge it. Is it on the floor? No. Nudge it. Is it on the floor? No. Nudge it. Is it on the floor? Yes. Admire your work. It says, we've packed 4 for you to enjoy and 1 to drop on your human's pillow. Oh, this is so worth the money. Mouse of the Month Club. Saturday morning in the garden. Peaches! I got nice fresh peaches. Yo, get your apricots right here. Apples, apples, apples. You want 'em? I got 'em. Now we're going to test your hearing. Is someone opening a can down the hall? And your hearing's fine. Duck, 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 duck. He's gonna pick me. I know he's gonna pick me. They always pick me. Today is the day I kill the red dot. That concludes Opa's Corner for this week.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
Opa's Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.